Hi, my name is Derek Davila, and this is going to be an introduction to VI for Senior Seminar CS 490 at San Diego State University. So VI is one of the most popular Unix command line editors. It allows you to edit text with the added ability of being able to use commands and shortcuts to perform operations on that text. So here on the left side, I've got a little cheat sheet open that will give you just some of the options of what you can do in the command mode. So each different key, each letter, and some of the numbers and other things can do different things. Case matters, so sometimes if you want, uppercase, shift, and say shift like ZZ would quit and save your file. So we're going to be using Vim, which is just stands for VI improved. It just added a few extra benefits to what VI already had. Some of that is like syntax highlighting for various programming languages, as well as being able to edit more types of files, compressed files in particular, and they've added some other things as well. So if you don't already have a file, we can use Vim to create that file for us. So let's create test.txt. So now we are in the file. So if you want to be able to type into the file just like any other regular text editor, you have to go into insert mode. So to go into insert mode, you hit I, lowercase I. So now we're in insert mode. It says it on the bottom. It says it on the bottom because of some edits that I have in my Vim RC file, and I will show that later. So in insert mode, we can type, let's say this is a test. Now we hit escape to go out of insert mode, and then we can now perform some operations on this text. So let's say we want to copy the entire line. So we're going to do Shift Y, so that yanks the line, puts it in the buffer. So now what we can do is go to our next line and hit, let's see, like Shift P, and it's going to duplicate the line for us, and we can do that as many times as we want. Some other things you could try is like if you want to replace something on one of these lines, like if you want to replace just say one character. So if we hit the lowercase r, should put it into replace mode, and then I can hit another letter and it just changes that T to a B. Now maybe I didn't want to do that, I did it on accident, I made a typo. You hit lowercase u and it's going to undo what I just did. So some other things you could do, especially what would be useful for coding, would be substitutions and searching. So for substitutions, let's say we had some line here that has, and we'll use the yank, has a lot of the same stuff. So say that this is spread out through an entire file, and I'll show an example later. If we want to substitute, say, the first test in like every line, so we do colon, and you'll see the command here at the bottom, colon %s, what we want to change, which is test, and what we want to change it to, which could be, I don't know, analysis. So we hit enter, and it's going to change the first test in every line. So that can be pretty useful, but say you want to change every time you see some word, you want to change it to something else. So we're going to hit U to undo, and we're going to do similar command again, from test to analysis /G, and G is going to do every single time that it finds that on every line. So now here's our change after we hit enter, and you can see it doing this for everything. So one reason that you could definitely use this, especially in coding, and I can show an example. So we're going to hit Shift ZZ to save and quit this file. And so now we're quit and we're back at our command line. So I have a C++ program from CS 530, the systems programming class. It was a assembly language compiler in C++. So that's not going to matter for what we're going to do here, but it's just as an example. Okay, so here's the syntax highlighting I was talking about before, showing like int and as different colors and that kind of stuff. So say you're working on a large file with maybe multiple people, and maybe you want to keep some sort of consistent naming conventions. Say I don't like using, I don't know, the word temp, and I want it to be temporary instead, or something like that. So first you could do a search for temp, which is already found there, and we could just by doing slash and then whatever you want to search for, and so that's one of the things you do. So for the substitution, if you want to just be able to change all of these things at the same time, it's much easier than having to do this manually. So like we were talking about before, we could do the colon %sign s, and let's see, something to do here. Maybe line. Let's change the line to lines. Something that will be easier. And we're going to do the G in case it shows up in multiple places. So now it's gone through and it changed 74 substitutions on 60 different lines. What we can do here, search for lines, and there's one of them that even did it in the quotes. So here's like one of them that changed. So that's one way that you could definitely would use in code, especially if multiple people who want to do things differently just by default, and you want it to all be the same. So here's like one of the lines, lis dot lines. I think that could be very helpful, especially for large files, and you don't want to be doing that kind of stuff manually. So another thing you can do from within Vim is just you can go to another file without having to leave, like saving and quitting this file. So we can go edit :E space, and I'll show my vim rc file, which has some of my settings. So that is in my home directory. So /vim /vimrc. No right sensitive change, and this doesn't want me to do it because I haven't written. Just undo what we did. Perfect. Okay, so :E /vimrc. Okay, so these are just, I only have a few settings in here, but some of the things. So show mode is so that it shows when you're in insert mode at the bottom. I think that's very useful. It's easy to forget, and you could start doing commands when you mean to be typing something. Set number is to show line numbers, also very useful. And another thing you could do is substitute within the line numbers. So say one of the commands you could do say we want to change set, but we only want to change it from lines 3 to 5. So we'll do 3, 5, and then we're going to substitute, and we'll change set to sets. And we can do the G also, although it wouldn't matter for this particular case. And what did I do? There we go. So, and that can just do specific lines, especially if just like one chunk of code, you only want to do it for, say, a certain function or module, then that could be very useful as well. We'll undo. Okay, so then that's to show the line numbers. And then these other ones are to stop it from doing temporary files. That's for lines 3 through 5, and then lines 6 and 7 are for the color scheme. there's a lot of different options you can do for that, whatever you prefer. And then so that'll run all these commands when you start up a file in Vim. The last one just stops it from wrapping words, so that that can be kind of weird for code, and it might not compile correctly if you're wrapping words. So we're going to do :q exclamation point to quit that file, and we're back at the screen here. So that was just a very brief introduction into what VI can do. There's a lot of things obviously didn't cover, and if you take a look at the cheat sheet here on the left again, there's a ton of different options what you can do, and you can string a lot of the commands together. You can map any of the keys you want to do anything that some command that you do on a regular basis. If it's something that's long, like what we were doing with the %s / whatever file you're going to, or whatever name you want to change to whatever you want to change it to where you could change it to where you just do a single key and it'll do that entire command. So there's a map command for that, and there's a lot of other things for deleting entire lines, moving lines around, moving to like the end of a file, moving to the end of a line, the end of a word, and various other things. So if you are interested, there's lots of resources online to learn about VI. You could even check out this website here at the top if you want to take a look at this cheat sheet on your own computer. But I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.